Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk Show on a Tech is Broken Tuesday. Let me tell you, there's lots of problems here at the house and also over with Tom. Tom, can you hear me?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
I'm surprised you can hear me because my shit's still loading, but yeah, everything's running wonky as hell.
Hey, ground control to Major Tom.
I have no idea what's going on. So
yeah, I finished editing my Tech Tuesday video. Should be up on the tube here soon, and then obviously it'll roll over to Odyssey later. Hopefully, you guys get a chance to check that out. I did put some effort into it. It's a lot of information, and I hope you enjoy it. Tom, you got anything going on? I know you guys released a fun video about the Disney.
No, we're working on another one now for Rings of Power.
Ooh, exciting. Yeah, so about 2 hours ago, you guys can check out what's happening with the Disney post D23. It's completely worth your time. It's a sponsored video by their sponsor over there, and I enjoyed it very much, so well done to you.
Did you see the Top Gun video I made for you?
I love you, Tom. I love you. I love Top Gun. Yeah. Top Gun's big. Top Gun's huge. Top Gun's getting bigger all the time. It's getting better all the time.
I used to at school.
Yeah, I used to get out angry and mad. Or sad? I don't know anyway. Lonely and sad? I don't remember what it is, but it's a great song. Maybe we should do that one. Maybe we should do karaoke. Not here, not now, but later.
Why not?
Later.
It's probably more exciting.
I haven't done it in a minute. There's not a lot of news, folks. I mean, really, we're out here to talk about, stuff that nobody knew was happening, along with, things that we know are happening. Things that we know are happening. Yeah, that's right. Okay. But we've got an early super chat from
there. Now my voice thing's working.
Anyway. Yeah, you sound tremendous. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours for $5 says, "Dear Bat Tom, hope you are well. I was curious, if you aren't too busy, can you send help? I've been stuck in CC's chat since the 6-minute daily." Well, there you go.
Boy. Usually when a kid gets stuck in a well, we call the fire department or Lassie. That's kind of not my bag. But if you were being held hostage by the Joker or Penguin, maybe I could help you.
What about Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze?
Did Mr. Freeze freeze him in the chat?
I don't know. It seems like maybe.
If he did, then I'm on the case.
Okay. All right. All
right. I'll go see you. What's up?
All right.
He's
very
frozen
good.
In the chat. I'm going to get you, Mr. Freeze.
Okay. Go get Mr. Freeze. What a day, folks. What a day. Man, he
didn't spend, 5 years at Frozen Medical School to be called Mr. though, I think.
No, I think Dr. Freeze is probably better.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I do know this. Thank you for the $5 super chat and for sponsoring today's program. We've got a lot of folks hanging out with today. I see Six in the chat, D. Bud Martin's in the chat, Olaf Von S is in the chat. You got Cody Guy in the chat.
Okay, one thing works and then something else quits working on me. So go figure.
We're doing fine. You sound great. Just stop playing with your computer.
I'm not trying to play with anything. It's just to try and get it to work in general.
Well, the lovely Sherry's here, Tom. That should cheer you up. Does that cheer you up?
Hi, Sherry. I saw Six in the chat. I saw Dr. Dragon, E-Clay, Duck Nation, Parrot Head, D-Bud, Olaf, Sherry. Who else is here?
Dapper Bard Games is here. You got
Dapper.
Luke.
He's a dapper gent.
Luke's art is here. And Matt G.
I am not your father.
Matt G is here. Siege Perilous is here. You got lots of folks, man. We got Parrot. Oh, you already said Parrot Head, though. I think
he said Cuddles.
let's see. Joshua. There you go. Joshua.
Yo.
Says yo. There you go.
Hey, yo.
Black Az is here. There you go.
What up?
Yeah. And Commander Ed Straker of Shadow. Greetings. Whew. It's a warm day still. Pete Den Cat's here. Good to see you. You got some Taco Bell?
It's Tuesday. Well, I haven't yet. But
All right. Okay. So are you ready? All right. We're going to talk about the only thing that happened last night that wasn't sports ball. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a television program about television programs.
That sounds meta.
It is. They are patting each other on the back.
Oh, it was the Emmys?
Boom shakalaka. The Emmys
They're
were
so
on
lame that they were on Mondays instead of Sundays.
Hey, this is where we're at. So we're looking at the NFL game, the Broncos versus the Seahawks, beating them out with a 1.6 rating and an 8 million.
I can't believe that many people watch the Emmys.
Yeah, but these numbers are down from last year.
So what? I still can't believe that many fucking people wasted that much time.
Well, look, what I find funny is that NCIS actually is competitive against the Emmys with 3 million people watching it. I think it might have been a rerun too. But it's just garbage. It's just garbage. And you know what? The good news is this. There was a lot of speeches, but only 2 of them really had any political overtones. So they actually did really well, like trying to like stop doing bologna sausage and having.
Well, it must have been that way because I didn't see any like clips or nothing online, so it must have been pretty boring.
Yeah, but let's see. Leia Rose is here. Good to see you, Leia. Tom Brady won, bro. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Here's a story.
I don't think it was smart to do it on a Monday, but I don't have any say. So there you go. Yeah, it was a summer rerun of NCIS. That's how relevant the Emmys are, kids. Football, of course, is going to win, although nobody's watching the Bronx. But it is what it is. You know, the Bronx Seahawks, not exactly a barn burner of a game. Oif. Very bad indeed. Etep Wada Wadakudian, favorite singer, won. Yeah. Yeah, Elonzo or whatever her name is. Yeah, Lisso. There you go. It's so fun. Do you have any news, Tom? There's really not a lot in Hollywood right now. I went spelunking for data today and couldn't find much.
Well, yeah, I mean, this time of the year with Hollywood is kind of like the in-between time or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Some of them are still on vacation from Labor Day.
Well, and you know, we don't really get started with the real calendar for TV for a little bit.
Well, and they shot, like, the TV shows have already pretty much been shot or they're finishing up for Labor Day, and then they're for the first half of the season anyway.
Yeah.
If they're a split season like most shows used to be anyhow.
Yeah.
But then some of these shorter seasons, they're able to shoot them pretty quick. So that's the thing. We're kind of like in that hole, in that void. And that's the other problem, is just the COVID void, right?
Right.
If you notice, some of these shows that we're getting now have not had a show in a couple of years. Movies and shows.
And it's getting worse, right? Not better. I mean,
as far as,
well, just as far as like the actual things that people are watching and interest in linear television, which is why NBC is going to knock off the last hour of the primetime day. I mean,
well, on that note, Six just sent me some semi-breaking news, actually.
Oh, is it
right along with what you're talking about?
Oh, well, whoop it out.
I whipped it.
There it is.
Considering the shutdown Showtime. Wow, that's big news, kids.
It is. Does that mean that they are going to shut down? Does that mean they're going to shut down the Chanel, the pay?
It sounds like it migrating its content to Paramount Plus.
Wow, bonkers. Oh, it's nothing. It's not nothing. 6. Just
no,
kidding.
This is big deal. Unless they're just, let's see here. What's it say?
Big nudes.
Is the show going to be over for Showtime? Paramount Global is having early discussions about shutting down Showtime as a standalone service and migrating Showtime's slate of premium content into its flagship streamer, Paramount Plus, according to a Wall Street Journal report, citing anonymous sources. Okay, so this is just rumors. Paramount has broached the idea of shuttering Showtime in talks with at least one major pay TV partner, per the report. Reps for Paramount and Showtime did not immediately respond. It's not a denial. In a statement to the Journal, Paramount did not directly address the question of whether Showtime would continue as a separate service. We are always exploring options to maximize the value of. Okay, so it's a non-answer. Yeah.
It's yes, but it's likely to happen non-answer, not the.
This is fucking interesting, actually. This is just what you were talking about. This might be signaling the beginning of the end of linear television.
Yeah. Wow, that's magical. I should have saved it for Mead. We can cover it on Mead tonight.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Latino Slant? Good to see you, Polly. Hey, I got some breaking things, but not quite as cool as that. But no, this could be the end of linear TV. Yeah, like I said, you're seeing the primetime schedules fall away, despite the fact that they still make so much money on advertisement, right? They need that. They need linear television for live sports.
That's not good if Showtime's not surviving on its own. Because remember, guys, like HBO is one of the biggest networks in the world. Why? Because they get subscriptions.
Yep.
They get paid flat out, right out the pocket. Showtime is the same way. Now, Showtime has not penetrated nearly as many homes as HBO penetrated.
But their content has also fallen off because of their
I was going to say, name something that Showtime has had as of late that has been a hit.
They were desperate, so they rebooted Dexter, right? The thing
I was going to say Dexter's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I can't recall a good Showtime streaming thing in a long time. I really can't, and believe me, I would look for one.
Well, just a Showtime show in general, like they haven't had a hit in a while.
Oh, Alubrian asked me a question. Did I get your Trek sales numbers? You know what, Alubrian Imakara, thank you for the member chat. I am not certain. I haven't checked my email this week or probably in the last week. I probably should, just in case somebody wanted to sponsor moi. Like that's going to happen. But I will definitely look into that, and thank you, because she tracks all those numbers, like the resales for Star Trek related things. I think you would like them if you have not seen them, Tom, and if you haven't, I will forward.
I'm sure that I've gotten them in the past. I think so, actually. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I do have good intentions.
The problem with Star Trek right now is we rarely do anything about it because nobody cares about Star Trek. Like they have killed it so bad that even our videos don't get any views anymore about it.
Yeah, Californication, that is such a great show.
That's you're talking almost 2 decades now ago.
Everybody, I mean, well, the young ladies were really excited because they got to see David Duchovny's.
But that show was in like the early 2000s. Same thing with Weeds. They were on at the same time. Or mid 2000s anyway.
Weeds was one of those you had to like make an effort to get into.
Oh, I loved Weeds until she went to jail. When she went to jail, that pissed me off because that's when the show went to shit. Most shows have that problem. Same thing with My Name is Earl. When he went to jail, show went to shit.
Yeah, don't go to jail. But Nealon did a good job.
The only show where they sent a character to jail and didn't go to shit was Cobra Kai.
There you go. All right.
And they did it twice.
Yeah.
Once with Robbie and then with John Kreese later on.
You know, Pete, you ask a good question. My answer is going to be this. To a certain extent, yes. The problem is cable also has a benefit. A lot of people get their internet through it. So it may never.
But it's becoming too expensive for these companies to maintain. That's the problem. I see this. I mean, we're not talking in the next few years. We're talking maybe a decade, but
decade out. Yeah.
Seeing networks like Showtime, which is a big deal, being shed.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning. Next thing you know, it's going to be, well, TBS, we don't need TNT anymore. Let's get rid of one or the other.
Yeah.
I
think TBS will be the first to go based on what I'd heard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'll have a lot of these channels where they'll see a lot of shit is redundant, right? And you don't need 20 channels to do the same thing anymore.
Yeah.
You're not going to need 12 ESPNs anymore, probably. You're not going to need, a bunch, like a lot of these home, networks that do like do-it-yourself stuff. A lot of those are going to end up conglomerizing too. You watch, you're not going to have enough room on the dial anymore because these cable companies are not going to be dishing out money, because sooner or later it's going to hit the point where less people have cable, and the companies are not going to be able to afford it, or you're not going to be able to afford cable because the price is going to go up so high, right? Because less people have cable, that means the price is going to go up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And there's no way, people are already bitching about cable prices, streaming prices, satellite prices, all this shit.
Right.
Sooner or later, it's going to hit a roadblock, and you're going to be like, well, what do we do here? And frankly, even television is not a cheaper alternative than streaming still, even with all the streaming services, all the money I spend on the streaming services every month. And some of them I have canceled over the last few months. I still don't spend as much as I did when I had a satellite, or if I were to even sign up for one of these network deals through Hulu or YouTube or anything like that. They're still pretty fucking pricey.
Well, and I think one of the other indicators there is going to be the thing I mentioned just offhand when we were talking a moment ago. NBC is considering killing their last hour, and likely to do so, their last hour of primetime. And there are going to be other networks that are going to follow it, because then they get to reduce the number of programs, especially scripted, even unscripted, that's going to allow them to save money. And it hands, some pretty valuable real estate back to the locals. What are the locals going to do with it? They're going to sell it. They're going to sell it.
Well, that's what kept Fox alive for years, is that they let the locals have that last hour of prime time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at it now as
well, and what that allowed then Fox to do was, when they decided to finally switch over with news on the network, they were able to hit that hour earlier mark.
Right.
And again, you're going to see it. I see what you're saying, though. They're going to start shutting off the last primetime hour. Then they're going to start shaving off the first hour of the day, the network time of the day. Then it's going to go into 2 hours of the morning. Then it's going to go into 2 hours of prime time. And then you're going to get to a point where the network really is only going to run maybe 5-6 hours a day. That's it.
Yep.
And a lot of the other stuff is going to be local programming and syndicated stuff. And then you're going to be to the point where a lot of these channels are barely able to keep alive, like UHF channels back in the day. We've already seen where this is going to go.
Yep.
So get used to watching, CBS, and then all of a sudden most of the day is taken up with Looney Tunes and Three Stooges because it's cheap programming.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see an increase in local programming and more entities acquiring, like, the bandwidth that the different networks have. Because if you look, I mean, that's kind of what Nexstar is, right? They went out and they got.
That could be, but here's the other side of it too, because you said, you read up a great point. The cable companies are the ones who are a big provider of internet, right?
Yeah.
Well, you also have the networks and the cable companies now, where basically what are they using to broadcast? They're using internet.
Yep.
So why are they doing twice the work to give you the what they're providing, right? Like, that's where I see this is going to come to a head sooner or later.
Yeah.
They're going to cut out the middleman. They're going to be like, what do we need this network shit for when we're already using internet to broadcast? It makes more sense to just directly, and that's kind of where they've been all this time. It makes sense to a point, but you need a central hub like Netflix for it to be able to work, unfortunately. And that's where the US is going to have a problem going forward, where I think the Canada, I think they have the right idea with Crave. It may be more expensive, but it takes up the idea of having so many goddamn streaming services, and the prices fluctuating constantly and all that kind of jazz. But I do like the idea of having a streaming service over a cable company, because then I have more capability of, dropping off or signing up as opposed to where if I'm signed up with cable or satellite, especially, you're usually stuck with a 2-year. You have to pay it out if you want to cancel it. To where I
Yeah.
can cancel Hulu tomorrow if I want to,
Right.
and then sign back up later on.
I think you're going to see, and again, this is just my ideas around it. I think you're going to see, the consolidation, like you mentioned, but I think you're going to see these networks go strictly to a streaming platform eventually. I think linear broadcast that we have now will be fundamentally different. And you will have a lot of little diginets that are very localized that people can consume material from, but it's going to be like, the old fashioned syndication stuff, and everything else is going to be found via a streaming service. Cause I think Peacock's just the beginning for Universal Comcast, right? I think they're going to go to just strictly a streaming network. I think they'll be the first ones to do it. I think Paramount Global will probably follow along, and your runners up will show up later, which would include Disney and Fox. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's right?
As far as which part?
The network's just eventually abandoning it completely and going to just streaming.
Well, that's what I was just saying. Like, they're going to say, why are we even bothering with this extra step? We're technologically, there's no sense in it. Like, let's just like take everything else aside, wash all the politics, all the corporate bullshit out of the way. It makes no sense. It's like basically you're taking a bucket of water from your faucet and then taking it to the sink in another room and dumping it in there when you could have just put a hose on that faucet to the other room. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing extra work to get something somewhere that it shouldn't be. And granted, the networks, they need their money right now. That's how they make all their money. We know that's how Disney now makes most of their money, through ESPN and selling advertising and all that shit. So it's not going away anytime soon. But you're just going to see that same platform migrate over to streaming. We've already seen it. Like, you can, if you got Paramount and certain other ones, like I can flip on my Paramount Plus through Amazon right now and watch network CBS live. Like, I can watch live TV.
Right.
And it's the same thing for certain other ones too that I have. I think HBO is the same way. So I mean, there's that option, and that's going to be the new option, I bet. For those who are like, they still like linear television, they'll have that live TV option, but I just don't see a cable company surviving into the next 10, 20 years.
I think they'll survive, just not as a cable company, just as an internet
company.
As
an internet provider. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. And I like I said, it's just, you get plenty of bandwidth out of it. It actually free them up of a lot of issues, and their maintenance will become less expensive. So you're right across the board. Speaking of being right across the board, we've been right on a show. Can you believe that, Tom? We were right on a show, and it's making a lot of arguments look like garbage, right? This is, I'm specifically referring to the fact that House of the Dragon viewership is up another 5% with episode 4. So it's gaining ground. Isn't that amazing? When you make good television and it's got positive buzz, not a lot of garbage out there. Tom's like, what? Yeah, so House of the Dragon actually went on to do some.
I've never seen House of Dragons. So.
Yeah, but this is, there's a shift, and there's changes in it, and the fans are liking the show despite the changes in it. So viewership of House of the Dragon increased 5% between episode 3 and 4. So it's gone up again. This has been happening 5% each episode, as it seems like pretty consistent. So this is per Nielsen, linear viewing of the series remained mostly steady, with 2.56 million viewers across the 4 cable airings for the week for the week ago episode, compared to 2.474 million this Sunday. But with streaming on HBO Max and other HBO platforms included, Variety has confirmed overall U.S. viewing of the series is up 5% week over week. So there you go. And that's against Sunday Night Football. So that's pretty impressive to me. And looks like this week's slight uptick is good news for Warner Brothers Discovery, as it debut as last week's debut also. Was up. So you're seeing this across the board. So House of the Dragon continues to rise with delayed viewing via streaming. This is according to Nielsen still. According to WBD's chief financial officer, Gunnar Weidenfelds, which you'll get used to that name, I promise you. The premiere episode, which is already HBO's most viewed premiere of all time when it debuted to 10 million viewers, has now been seen by over 30 million.
Sounds like we have a guest.
We do. And I'm grateful that the guest is here. Greetings, Andre. How are you, boss?
He's on the mobile.
I'm having issues. I can't hear you. Because I'm logged in from the car. I see you're speaking, but I can't hear you. So I'm gonna log out and try again afterwards. See if I can fix this.
Sounds great.
All right.
So, yeah, we may have Andre.
Yeah,
so
he's driving.
The boss was here briefly, but now he's gone. But he may return, so we'll see. But I'm sorry. I think that's really good news for HBO, and I think that's really good news for others. Yeah. Let's see. House of Dragon. Interesting. Zax is a frenemy. I don't know about that. Running with Scissors is here and says good info. I was wondering, do we have Rings of Power domestic metric for Rings of Power 3-4? Not yet. Have you seen anything like that, Tom?
On which part? Because you just
Rings of Power, where the numbers
demos
are.
metric.
I haven't seen anything.
Not really. I mean, I know the ratings are pretty low.
It's really, really quiet. Look, that you don't want a show that's quiet. You want buzz. They got none. And this is Siege Perilous. I agree with you. I do think that it is benefiting from a total dearth in the general landscape. I don't know, Tom. Do you think that House of the Dragon is benefiting because there's not a lot else out there to compete?
It could be, but the fact that there is nothing else out there and it's still doing that bad, or House of Dragon's doing well.
Yeah, House of Dragon, but Rings of Power's tanking hard.
No, the fact that there's nothing else to watch and Rings of Power's not doing well, that doesn't help that show's arguments at all. But no, Game of Thrones I'm not as surprised by. Part of me is surprised because I thought, well, it doesn't have the established fan base like some of these other series do because they lost a lot of their fans with that last season. But evidently a lot of normies either just don't care or it's a bigger fan base than I thought. So one or the other.
I'm just impressed because it was able to bounce back despite the last two seasons of
well, that's what I mean. Either people were just able to overlook that, or the Game of Thrones in general has a bigger audience than I ever knew.
Yeah,
and they're able to just overlook that one mistake and move on.
Yeah, Sassy still has a cool picture. I like that one a lot. Haitian says Amazon won't release any numbers unless they can fudge them massively. Agree. Yes, and congrats to Zax on his massive channel growth. I agree with that statement as well. It was nice to see the boss for a couple of seconds. Pretty fun. Heron of Alexandria thinks the show is good. Becky Brown is joining us today. Hope you're doing well, dear. Rings of Power is stunning and brave. There you go. My buddy Zach is only 50 subs away from 10K. So if you're not subscribed to Zach's, go check it out, please. Just amazing. Nicole Slays, what's going on? Says, hey. The boss was here. He'll be back. Rings of disappointment for some people. Yeah. I would rather wash my hair than watch Rings of Power. Well, it's a good time for me to wash my hair. That's for sure. We got some other news, Tom. Do you know anything about Twitter?
Other than it's a cesspool? Not really.
Yeah, but you seem to like it more than you like Gilded.
Well, it's just easier to use. That's all.
Well,
let's
speaking of Twitter, and this is kind of fun because that whistleblower went in front of Congress today. Did you know that the whistleblower guy that said that?
No, but I remember hearing about it happening.
Complete garbage.
Yeah.
Well, he went up to talk to Congress today. We'll see how that all melds out. But something else happened today. in relation to Twitter. Twitter's shareholders approved the sale to Elon Musk as he fights to terminate the deal. So as he's trying to get out, they're like, oh, yeah, we want you to buy us because we're about to be discovered for the frauds that we are.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Alleged frauds that we are.
Before, they didn't want to sell. Now they want to sell.
All right. Well, we have another Andre appearance. Let's see. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, now I can hear you. If you can hear me as well, then we're on to something.
Sako Bafo, indeed.
Yeah, perfect. Now, because I'm here on the mobile, I only have limited battery, so I don't know for how long I can stay, but yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. I love it when you pop in. We can revisit some of the things we talked about. Do you think that, unless you would like to talk about this Twitter thing moving forward?
I haven't seen it, so just lay it on me. I've been busy writing videos and stuff today.
Yeah, I understand. Well, first off, let's start with this. The whistleblower appeared in front of Congress today to talk about the security issues that Twitter has, along with their bot problem and possibly foreign agency interests, involved in the company directly as employees. So he was testifying at Congress today. At the same time, Twitter has a shareholder vote that approves the sale to Elon Musk as he fights to terminate the deal. That's the story we have on the screen now. Do you think that Musk is going to be able to back out of this?
I hope he isn't, because I want him to own Twitter.
Right.
Because I'd rather trust him with it than who currently has it. And that they are like now trying to fight for him to no, you bought it, so now you get to keep it. Well, I don't want it anymore. I mean, that's some kind of game. I'm not going to pretend to know the details about it, but that's obviously some kind of game being played. And I do hope that it's going to end with it on Elon Musk's hands, because whether he wants it or not, I think the world is going to be significantly better off with Twitter in his hands than with its current owners.
Right. But, it might not be worth half of what he may be obligated to.
Probably, in terms of pure monetary value, probably it isn't. But the thing with Twitter, it's not really about the monetary value. It's not the monetary value that makes it dangerous. It's as a tool for social engineering. That's what makes it dangerous. And I think that is a different kind of value that you can't really put a price on. That's why they were so desperate not to sell in the first place. So again, there's something going on here, some kind of game being played, and I don't know the details. But because of that possibility that you have for social engineering, just for that, I don't want those who have it now to keep on having it, because they have shown so clearly that they do not have the people's best interest at heart. Let's put it that way.
No, not that I believe that they ever have, but I mean, this is a particular entity that got very corrupted once it fell out of the control of his friends, hands. Oh my gosh, I just forgot the founder. He's Square also. What? Oh my gosh,
Jack Dorsey.
Dorsey, thank you, man. I don't know why his name fell out of my head. Yeah, his buddy Jack was the guy that, when he was legitimately just in charge of this before it became owned by a lot of other entities, it might have been on a good road. In fact, I'd say initially it was, but the minute they started to lock it up and try to control speech and use it for the purposes you're describing, social engineering, then it became a very corrupt platform.
Absolutely.
But, we'll have to see what happens with Zatko's time in front of Congress today, because I'm going to tell you, if he's able to actually shed even more light onto the lies about the number of fake accounts and so on and so forth, there's going to be heck to pay.
I hope so. I really hope so, because every single person currently in charge of Twitter, and that has been in charge of it for like the last 5-10 years, all of them are best case scenario guilty of fraud, of defrauding investors, advertisers.
Well, and they made false statements to the SEC.
Well, as I said, that's the best case. Best case scenario is that they're guilty of that, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, of course. Then you have like the false statements and stuff. But I get like this impression that you kind of get away with that, depending on who you are. But defrauding advertisers, that's like yeah.
Yeah, well, Madoff
basically, it's forget that they're advertisers. They have failed in their fiduciary duties towards capital investors. You can put it that way, and for that, there's hell to pay.
Yeah. Well, and but I just know they put Bernie away for a long time because of a lot of misstatements. So,
not long enough, and not in harsh enough conditions. But yeah, that's a different matter.
Terrell seems to disagree with you. He thinks that if the sale goes through, they'll take the money and socially engineer another social influence site, while existing leftist employees tear down what's left of Twitter. I don't think they'll be there. I think Twitter will be run by like 40 people by the time.
That's what I think too. I think that, of course, I don't know, and you could be right. But if it goes through, I think that Elon Musk, he is going to fire a shit ton people really quickly, and you're going to have like 40, 50 people running it. Really, that's all you need.
You don't
for what it should be. You don't even need that, really.
Well, you're going to need some people to know, hold the keys to some information that can navigate around how to fix things. But no, you're right. It doesn't have to be that many people. I look at some billion-dollar corporations that are run by 12 or 15 people. So it's not like, it's not like it's required. We've got Olaf von S reminding everybody that tomorrow is the 300th special episode of Midnight's Edge in the Morning. So
it is indeed. It is indeed. Can you imagine that, Tom? It's been 300 episodes.
It's a lot of days. And there's the premiere right there. Or at least the channel that you can become a member of, subscriber of, whatnot, where that will air tomorrow. And that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Can't wait to be there. Did you know there's some breaking news about Star Trek Picard?
Do share. I heard that it wasn't testing very well.
Well, actually, this is unrelated. The Star Trek Picard is actually bringing out the Next Generation Legends for a New York Comic-Con final bow. So Discovery and Prodigy will return as well to the New York Comic-Con. So they're going to try to
so basically, there you have one reason to go and two reasons to stay the heck away.
There you go. That's right. But you're going to see probably the last appearance of those TNG people for the most part, unless they go individually. Because as far as I know, there are no official Star Trek sci-fi conventions anymore. It's just generic sci-fi convention in Vegas every year. I think Star Trek's out of the convention.
Well, there is one in Europe, but even that one has you have Destination Star Trek Europe. Like the original idea was that it was going to be like this rollating thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1 year it was going to be in the UK, another it was going to be in Germany, then in France, then in the Netherlands. As it turned out, the only places where you have sufficiently large a base of installed Trek fans to do something like that is the UK and Germany. So really, we only had like Star Trek Destination UK and Star Trek Destination Germany. And the only rotation has been like, is it in London, or is it in Birmingham, or is it in Berlin, or is it in Hanover, that kind of stuff. But that thing is still going. I'm not going to say it's going strong, but it's going. And I believe there's at least one plan for both the UK and Germany, I believe, still to come in the future. So that's where you have the Star Trek conventions right now. How big they are, that I don't know anymore. How many people are coming? Because Strange New Worlds and Discovery and that jazz, it ain't popular in Europe either.
Well, I know that Star Trek has fans globally. I was just that's interesting to find out that they still can get some people interested in a convention, because here in the States, I don't know that there's one, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think a lot of that is just
Well, here's the thing, though, because Star Trek, yeah, of course, it has like pockets of fans all over the world,
Right.
but a sizable number of fans that you have in the US, UK, and Germany. And beyond that, it's isolated pockets. Like, for instance, in Norway, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but there's probably like 2,000 of us in the whole country.
That's crazy. I just, for whatever reason, I always thought Star Trek's reach was bigger than that, but
You would
I guess
think
that makes
so,
sense.
but it was all. It has nothing to do with the content itself. It's more a matter of distribution and when it was shown, because in the US it was on TV, right, in the 60s. It's been in the reruns everywhere since, and this was also true in the UK, and it was true in Germany. Wasn't true everywhere else. Like, for instance, when I saw my first episode of Star Trek, the original series, the very first time I saw an episode.
No.
Guess.
You're probably were 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty decent guess.
Wow.
Because the original Star Trek series has never been on TV in Norway. There's never been on TV in Sweden. There's never been on TV in Denmark. It was like around 2004, thereabouts, that they had like a special on Swedish TV where they got like 10 episodes or something like that, the 10 most famous episodes that they showed over the course of one weekend. That's the only time the original series has been shown, to my awareness, anywhere in Scandinavia. First time I saw it in its entirety was when it came out on DVD in 2005, when I bought it when I was living in the UK. And everywhere else, like when the movies came, they kind of assumed that you had seen the series, but in the places where you didn't have the series, they didn't become this popular thing. Star Trek Next Generation, that was available everywhere.
Right.
But when you didn't have like this connection to the original series, when that was like a niche thing, then yeah, most people became Trekkers, and it never took off in the way that, for instance, Star Wars did, because it was like this brand that was more difficult to get into, I think.
Oliverian says that Paramount took over the Trek official cons. I did not know that. So that means a lot of them are just gone.
Yeah.
She says, they're boned when they're not even giving out freebies at the big cons because that stuff usually floods eBay. There's nothing to sell this year. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to get you your numbers. I'm sorry I didn't get to them, Oliverian. I'll definitely take a look at it. But wow, 6, that's pretty mean. Culture was getting his first colonoscopy when Andre was 25. That's pretty mean. Yeah. Well, Andre's a young guy. There you go.
Well, I'm not that young anymore, but yeah.
Star Trek was huge in America. Globally, Doctor Who was the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I agree. For whatever reason, I think Doctor Who was just an international success.
Well, again, if you by globally mean the UK and the US, you're absolutely right. But once you leave the US and the UK, and especially if you go back before the 2003 reboot, Doctor Who was not like a huge thing. Again, very niche. Everyone knew of it, but it wasn't like the biggest thing or something.
Yeah, but you're dispelling like a lot of things I just took as like likely, without obviously doing any research. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty with like having people coming from different places and bringing some different perspectives.
Paulie, you're always welcome, my man. Gosh, you guys are so funny. But I don't know. Tom lost his PC. That's why he's not here. Okay.
Yes, his PC is giving him a hard time. It's my fault because I made him really overwork that PC.
I feel like I need to send him like a computer or something. Just say, here, do this, because he does put that thing through a workout all the time.
Oh, absolutely! Like those hamsters, they do get a workout. They absolutely do.
Oh, I was complimenting the video that you just released a little bit ago.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's doing pretty well too. I'm very happy to report.
Yeah.
So that was a fun video to do. Like it felt like, oh, this is Midnight's Edge classic territory here.
Well, I like the way that you cover stuff like that. I like the way you cover, the D23 things. And I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm one of those people. I don't need the hyperbole along with like the information. Some analysis is something I appreciate. But
yeah, like I'm too dead inside to get into hyperbole. So yeah.
Yeah, and Mecha J, yeah. I mean, the fact that we can talk about fan baiting now openly, and that people are starting to get an understanding of it, and we've got people exposing it, in places including Twitter. I think that's helpful, to be honest with you. I think it helps us understand why they're doing what they're doing and how they're doing.
Extremely much so, yeah. Because we've all seen the practices, we've seen the tactics. But that Twitter thread, that was extremely well laid out. It got really good traction. Critical Drinker retweeted it. Robert Meyer Burnett retweeted it. Yeah. Of course, among Robert Meyer Burnett's followers, there was like instant denial for across the board. But still goes to show how important it is to expose these kind of things, because it's really insidious. Yeah. And the funny thing, I don't think it's gonna, well, not funny, but the hopeful thing is I think that the end is in sight for it. Because I have a follow-up video planned where I'll go through how this thing can go on for as long as it has without actually making money. Because where it falls apart is in that, yeah, it gives great traction, it gives great engagement in social media, doesn't result in money.
No, it doesn't.
On the contrary.
Yeah,
and when the awareness of that spreads, that is kind of like what is needed to fix it. And of course, yeah, you have ESG money, you have a number of investors that aren't necessarily looking for a return on their investment. That's a very real thing. We've been talking about that for years. That's a big part of why Star Trek Discovery has been going for the way that it has. But when the losses at the box office and in streaming aren't big enough to offset those gains that they get from ESG and stuff, right, that's when the studios are forced to act.
Yeah. And I think, again, as more people are exposed to it, and there's actually somebody in the chat that I know was exposed to, like, the stands and the wokeites that were, at the D23 thing. It just, that wave washes over you like, wow, these people live in this really small bubble that's well outside of reality. And, and the more people that are exposed to the fact that these are the silly games that are being played. But look, Blake 7 is supposed to be incredibly wonderful, and I will be. That's on my list to consume. Have you seen Blake 7, Andre?
I know of its existence. I've heard that it is amazing, but again, very UK thing. The moment you leave UK, only the worst geeks like myself have even heard about it. No one will have. Very few will have seen it once you leave UK borders.
Yeah. And this is a good question from Dapper Bard Games, right? And this is the one that we talk about all the time. Yeah, but how do you convince companies that social media doesn't equate sales? Well,
it's a matter of who in the company and what they value.
Right.
That's the issue there, because
we just lost
first and foremost with the studio's marketing department, and the marketing department, they outsource much of that PR agencies, and those PR agencies, they are not measured on sales, they are measured on engagement.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I just keep praying. Praying's probably a strong word. I just keep believing that more people will become aware. Retail investors will become more aware of, the fact that corporations make no money on these things, and there's an opportunity for greater earnings. So
but with that, like my phone is about to run out of battery here, so I regret that I have to take my absence here. But thanks for having me, and have a great stream.
Oh, it is absolutely a great pleasure to have you as always. Thank you for being here, and of course, I will promote the wonderful 300th stream of Midnight's Edge in the morning tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Thanks for being here, Andre. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Bye.
See you later, boss. All right. There goes Andre. So that leaves me up here for a little bit. Maybe someone else will limp in here for a couple of moments. And the truth is, the hair is now solo. And Loubrian, you hit it right on the head. Engagement does not mean sales. And it's fake engagements. If it's coming from an echo chamber and from bots, as Siege Perilous suggests, I think we're seeing a lot of that. Olaf, I sent Polly the link already. I would have done it sooner, but Tom dropped out. So it's hard for me to do all those things at once. But do check out Midnight's Edge tomorrow, Midnight's Edge in the morning, the 300th episode of that particular program. I imagine, let's see, it's Wednesday, so I will likely be there. We'll probably have maybe Paul Chato will show up. Maybe we'll get some other special guests. I would imagine Andre has something planned because he's really good at that. So yeah, I'm stoked. So Logic's Finest says, I was at New York Comic Con in 19 and 2021. The new woke sci-fi merch couldn't be given away, especially Doctor Who. I know it's been crazy like that. Hey, Tom's back. You got the machine creaking? Oh, his audio's not up yet. He'll talk when he can. Gap, I saw you this morning hanging out with our buddy Captain Fandom Nerd. Good job on your appearance over there today. Well done. Jedi Bill is here. Great to see you, my friend. Yes, I can hear you. Okay, Tommy. Okay. Tommy, can you hear?
Everything's still running wonky.
All right, very good. All right, Jedi Bill is here.
No, it's not very good, actually.
Well, I'm just glad you're here. Parrot Analytics parrot your wishes right back to you. Thank you, Loubrian. Yeah, Tom's crawling back. He gave the hamsters some treats. I think maybe some Colombian marching powder. I don't know. I love cake, Pete.
I beat him too hard, evidently.
Tom's front also, Micah J. We'll have to see. I think tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun on Midnight's Edge in the morning. But I have one last thing to talk to you about, and it might be a little political, but it's a media story, and I like to cover the media and the entertainment business because the media is the entertainment business, and news is also the entertainment business. So let's take a look at this story and see what you think. Tom, are you've been following like news coverage occasionally here and there, maybe sometimes once in a while? You know that sometimes there are these hoaxes that happen, maybe sometimes. Yeah, there was one recently that CNN and a lot of these other agencies went all in on, and CNN has actually turned the corner on this yesterday afternoon. They said CNN's John Avlon acknowledges widespread media failure on the BYU racist heckling allegations. There was a rush to judgment. Well, there's always a rush to judgment in this case and with these networks. And, there was no proof. CNN's John Avlon provided this is a unique term, journalistic accountability for his network and others during a news segment on Monday he dubbed Upon Further Review. Avlon tackled the findings from an investigation by Brigham Young University that found no evidence to back up allegations from Duke University volleyball player Rachel Richardson that she and other athletes were subjected to racist heckling. In a statement about the alleged incident, BYU said they'd interviewed dozens of people, reviewed video and audio evidence, and found nothing to back up the claim that fans were hurling these slurs at players. One fan even had a lifetime ban reversed amid the investigation. The CNN anchor noted that the story jumped to the front of the Outrage Olympics. Holy cow. The fact that he said that is bonkers. And his new segment was to update the initial version of the story once more facts come in. Wow. Correcting the record, in other words. He added that at one point, CNN was one of many networks to jump on the initial allegations, even inviting Richardson's family on air. even though her family had already been exposed for the types of behaviors that this yielded prior. Interesting. This is untrue. 6, you are always welcome. Why are you doing this? You guys are just mean to me. Caps like faints. They admitted something. Did you hear anything about that, Tom, or no?
The Twitter admitted who admitted what?
CNN. The fakeness.
CNN
saying, you know what, you're right. Let's cover this.
Yeah, depends on who's in charge, really.
Well,
I mean,
but see, Dr. Dragon brings this up. Says the Zaslav is now in effect. The Snowflakes dislike CNN because of the new leader supports Orange Man. But I heard Fox News is going on, becoming what CNN did. I don't know if that's true, but you have what that is.
Well, they kind of already had that problem, but from the right's point of view.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, in that respect, both of them needed to kind of back off a bit and move back towards the center again, basically.
Well, if everybody gets back to just giving us information and not giving us commentary, we're better off. Leave the commentary and discussion people who do it better, because news people shouldn't be doing it at all.
Pretty much.
I just thought it was interesting because, we have not seen a whole lot of mea culpa when it comes to news media, right? They usually continue to obfuscate, double down, et cetera, et cetera. There's even police reports out there about just how blatant her lies were. So, hey, Ruben, good to see you, buddy. DS Ford, how about just report the news? Yes, sounds good to me. I just want the facts, ma'am. I don't want your dang opinions. Deliver the news, and that's it. Thank you. I agree. CultureCasino, have you seen the Marvel Secret Invasion trailer? And what are your thoughts? I've now watched it for like the 3rd time. And my initial response I actually gave yesterday on Midnight's Edge in the Morning. I think Tom can probably tell you. I wasn't real thrilled with it. I thought it was just going to be Cameo, the TV show, just like every other Marvel show has been, including She-Hulk. But I think there's some room there for some maneuvering. And maybe it can help, move some other characters out into the forefront or bring some characters back into the forefront that probably deserve to be there. It's obviously just a lead into Armor Wars. But Tom, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's one of the first things I've seen in a while that didn't it just completely invoke like wham power, goofiness. It actually seemed like something that was more in tone with, like we said yesterday, Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in that respect, it has potential, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. I mean, we have a few highlights of things that kind of, give you an inkling of things might be going one way or the other. But then you've got Chapek, who I think is completely delusional now at this point. I'm not even sure what to think of that guy, because he thinks that the whole "don't say gay" thing was a fucking success. I'm like, to who? Like, in both cases, y'all lost. The only one who came out looking good in that situation was DeSantis, and that's it. Unless he knows something we haven't been told yet, but whatever.
I guess I'm there. This is a good question when it comes back to this show. Who's Amelia Clark's character in Secret Invasion? Do you happen to know that, Tom? Because I don't.
Not offhand, no.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be some agent or something.
This is a good observation, Siege Perilous. It's a very good intro vehicle for the B teams. To be fair, Iron Man was not necessarily A tier. I mean, and I know people have been saying that for a long time, and you've probably heard it multiple times. Most of you out there in the audience have. But, he wasn't a top tier Marvel character, but he became one. He became the most important one when it comes from the beginning of that film, Iron Man, all the way through Endgame. Tony Stark was center of that. Now he had very close, like one A's, one B's in Captain Rogers there, but for the most part, it was Tony. That was not something that was necessarily true in the books.
Mm.
Yeah, there are a lot of retcons when it comes to the Skrulls and to the Kree. This is true. But yeah, Iron Man started the MCU, and him being gone ended it also. I agree.
Didn't help.
Yeah, he was a 50-50 top character at best. Yeah. We'll have to see. Floral rolled in about the time we're getting ready to wind down. There wasn't a lot of news, absent what we talked about with the Emmys, what's going on with Twitter, what's breaking news with Paramount actually getting rid of Showtime potentially, the scaling back of linear television. I have a feeling there's going to be more discussion around that on Midnight's Edge After Dark a little bit later today. What time are you starting that, Tom?
What was the last thing you said?
What time are you starting Mead today, Tom?
Normal time.
Okay. But
about 6:30.
Okay. Now that is Eastern?
No, Central.
Okay. So you need to tell the audience these things.
Well, you should know. No wonder you never fucking show up. You don't even know what time it is.
I'm working. Okay.
You're busted, man.
I show up.
6 Central, Tuesday and Thursdays, man. That's it. And we usually get started somewhere between 1:15 and 6:30.
Eat Clay, I'm not ignoring you. Can't keep up with everything. You guys are so mean to me. Everybody's mean to me. I don't know why. Nice guy.
I've just been distracted trying to edit this video while my computer's crashing around me.
Ironcaster says, Mom and Dad quit fighting. All right.
Fine.
Yeah, I agree with you, Logic's Finest. I don't want to get it. God, those comic books were good. I know this. There's a lot of breaking stories according to Six, so they're being saved for Mead. So there's going to be real news on Mead, apparently. And I'm just a terrible show host. Hey, what's up there, 70s? All right, well.
Six is just thorough. That's all. She makes sure she looks everything up.
All right. With that being said, Tom, anything you want to promote on the way out the door? As Six shoots me $20 and says, Culture, I love you. Well, I love you too, Six. And thank you for $20. Holy cow. You became the sponsor of today's show. I think that's the second super chat. Thank you for that. It's awesome. Feige's a hack. Yes. Now he is. This is an interesting statement. Do you have any inside information why we didn't see a Guardians 3 trailer at the D23 Expo?
I don't think it's nearly done yet. I think he shot it, but there's still a ways to go on post and all that business. Is that Christmas thing supposed to be this year or is that next year? Because I can't remember which one comes first.
It's supposed to be this Christmas. I think it's like in a couple of months.
Yeah, so we haven't even seen a trailer for that yet.
That's true. That's weird.
And that's coming first. So
I think it's this year. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours shot us a $2 Super Saiyan. So Brie looked defeated at D23. I felt bad for her a little. Yeah, I mean, gosh, Chris Gore shared with us the picture that his editor-in-chief took at the expo of the little semicircle of like 30 people
Nobody.
Waiting. And then her red carpet interview was rough. That was rough.
I don't know. Does anybody want me to play Captain Marvel again? I don't know. Just don't know.
It's not.
Do you want me to play Captain Marvel again? Nobody else does.
That was rough.
Don't patronize me. Fuck.
Wow.
That was the look she was giving.
They didn't show anything at D23. Why buck the theme? They've been falling off considerably with the D23 events since, I don't know, 2017. I will check my email. I promise, Olivrian. I feel bad. You guys me all the time. Martin Vasquez is here. Good to see you, my friend. Yep, Mead tonight. 6-ish Central. I have admin privileges, so I can press the go live button. Ooh, she's forcing the show to start on time. So there you go. Yeah, that's another weirdness. Adam Warlock has been teased how many times? 2? 3? No Adam Warlock.
At least twice, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, Gap. Breeze Q score has to be in the low toes instead of low teens. It was funny.
Oh, her and her
check your email because you could already be a winner. That'd be great. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. You guys are wonderful. Again, Tom's gonna
wiener.
His show. We've got episode 300 of Midnight's Edge in the morning tomorrow. My video is of Tech Tuesday video is going live in less than 90 minutes. And right before, like an hour before that thing happens. I also have a short coming out here today. It just asks a question. In 45 seconds, I'll drop that later. Martin tried to get one last question in. Go ahead, Tom. What do you think of Secret Wars?
What
do you think about Secret Wars? Anything?
It's a secret.
Okay, cool. Excellent. I don't think much of it at all.
The original story concept is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether or not they can pull it off and execute it in the MCU, that's a whole other.
They won't even try.
It's supposed to be coming, but yeah.
It's going to be warmed over. It's going to be warmed over. And Amazon is absolutely desperate.
Like this.
Yep, 2 separate stories indeed. All right, here we go. Everybody, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene.
Don't take candy from strangers.
Wait a minute. Doesn't all kids do that on Halloween every year?
Oh, fuck.
And until next time, bye.
Where? You're bi now? No! He's bi now. Drink lemonade, watch Tuesday Diary, eat a taco, cause it's Taco Tuesday. You know that's the way to celebrate. Culture Casino Show. Can't stay here, but it's time to go. Time to go. Here's the second part I haven't written lyrics for yet, but I'm sure they're gonna be cool on that, you can bet. Oh, if culture gets any hairier, that motherfucker will need a vet.